Well, it's a joy to have you here today as we celebrate Reformation. I got to confess, it's probably one of my favorite Sundays. First of all, because I'm just really excited about our heritage and where we came from and how we got to where we are today. I'm really excited about that. And it used to be, my second reason was the time change was always on Reformation Sunday, and I got to sleep an extra hour. But then they took that away, so I had to come up with another reason, which is actually more important than my original second reason, which is we celebrate the adventurous spirit of Lutheran Christians. We're different than everybody else, and then we're alike in everybody else, but there's a certain spunkiness that we've got, and that goes way back to our very, very beginnings. Martin Luther was kind of a spunky sort of guy, and his words and the stories I tell it to you today will kind of put that little spunky smile on your face. You know, it's the smile you get when you've done something righteously naughty. You've done something you know it's against the rules, and it has to be done, and it all turns out okay, and you just get that. It's like, whoa. I saw that on the face of one of our members. Hopefully you remember and are praying for Tom Detloff, one of our members who had a few months ago had a fall off a ladder and landed on his head and a severe traumatic injury to his brain. And he's still recovering. He's coming along, a couple of surgeries, and right now he's at Palm City Nursing Home, and he's slowly beginning to get some speech back, and he's actually walking pretty good for a while. Well, I was visiting him a week ago on Friday, and he got this smile. I got to tell you the story. It was so funny. We went to this nursing home. It was after supper time, and I asked Lynn if it's okay if I took Tom for a walk, because he'd been sitting around. And she said sure. So we got up, and he got on his walker, and he started going. We went down the hall and went all the way to the very far end of the nursing home. I said, "Do you want to rest?" He said, "Rest." So we sat down in some chairs. And then coming back, when we hit the first nurse's station, there was a traffic jam of wheelchairs. And there was one sitting this way and one sitting this way, and the space was about that big to get through. Well, being the good and compassionate pastor that I am, and since I was taking care of him, I went to talk to the man in a wheelchair like this to ask him if he could move, if he would mind if I moved him just a little bit so Tom could get through. In the meantime, while I'm kneeling down talking to him, Tom just picks up his walker and goes right through. And a nurse happened to see that, and I kind of got in trouble because I wasn't even supposed to walk him in the first place, apparently. And he got that look, that spunky, like, I know I shouldn't have done it, but I'm so glad I did. Well, that's what the Reformation is all about. Martin Luther was that type of guy. As Dave said a little bit in the intro to the service, one of the things that he did a few times was he went to the local tavern, and he'd hear a melody and people were singing, they were all excited about it. And then he'd take it and then he'd write words from the scriptures and put it in and sing it in church. And one of the songs that we did, he heard this tune down at the local. And he combined it with the words of Psalm 46, which goes, "God is our strength and refuge, a very present help in the time of trouble." And we sing it every Reformation Day. It's called "A Mighty Fortress is Our God." So, as I tell you the story, again, to uplift the gospel of Jesus Christ, we're going to sing it. We're going to take a familiar tune, and we're going to take old words from the scriptures and from the history and sing it. Singing, this is the chorus. I'll teach it. It goes like this. Papal bulls, indulgences, and transubstantiation. Speak out, I'm against it, and face excommunication. Nail your theses to the Lord, let's start a reformation. Papal bulls, indulgences, and transubstantiation. Right there. Now I've got to tell you a little bit, because the chorus we sing it, we're going to sing it a number of times, and what it means. First of all, papal bulls. Papal bulls are not livestock that the Pope had hit on back at the Vatican. Rather, papal bulls were edicts or pieces of paper, certificates that the Pope wrote expressing his opinion. They still today believe that the Pope is infallible, so everything he wrote, all his bulls, it's kind of interesting the word bulls, is thought as gospel. So papal bulls, and then we sing about indulgences. Now, indulgences is not drinking too much or playing too many cards or eating too much or going, indulging yourself. But rather, indulgences were certificates that they were selling in those days that you could get your loved ones out of purgatory early. The belief was that there's heaven and hell. When you died, you had to go to purgatory first and hang out there suffering and working off your sins that you committed. Even though Jesus forgave some of them, there's still that residual sin that had to be worked off. And it would take some time, up to thousands of years. So, for a few shekels, you could purchase an indulgence and buy old grandma right out of purgatory. And so it's kind of a good thing. The next thing we sing about is transubstantiation, which is the way the Catholic Church looks at Holy Communion. Our brothers and sisters in the Catholic Church believe that when the priest consecrates bread and wine, like we just did a few minutes ago, that the substance of the bread and the wine actually change into the body and blood of Christ. So that's what transubstantiation is. Excommunication, well, that's pretty obvious. It's getting kicked out of the church. But Luther didn't care. He said there's stuff we got to talk about. There's 95 points or theses, and he took them and he hung them where they're supposed to go, which is on the Wittenberg door of the castle church. So, with that in mind, now I invite you to sing the chorus with me. Here we go. He had parents, and they were Hans and Magdalena, and Hans's wish was that his son Martin would grow up and be a lawyer. And so off he went to the university in Erfurt to study law. Things were going around very well until he got caught in a storm and almost struck by lightning, and it scared him so bad that he fell on his knees and he looked up to the sky and prayed to Saint Anne, who is the saint of childless mothers, and said, "Saint Anne, help me, I'll become a monk." Well, she did, and he did. And so he went and got one of those funny monk haircuts, and he went on to become a monk. So I'll sing the verse, you join me in the chorus. Then I was just a younger man, I studied canon law. While Erfurt was a challenge, it was just to please my pa. Then came the storm, the lightning struck, I called upon St. Anne. I shaved my head, I took my vows, and Augustinian. Oh, paper bulls and indulgences and while Luther was in the cloister, he was studying the Bible and teaching classes at the University of Wittenberg, and indulgences were selling like hotcakes. One of the major sellers in Wittenberg was a guy by the name of John Tetzel, not Pretzel, John Tetzel. And he was famous for saying, as soon as a coin in the coffer rings, a soul from purgatory springs. They were selling like hotcakes, but Luther was very not happy at all because he had discovered in his studies that for years and years he had been mistranslating a passage from the book of Romans. And the way it should be translated is that we are saved by grace apart from works of the law. In other words, we don't earn our salvation, we don't do things or buy things, but but rather simply by the merits of Jesus Christ dying on the cross and God raising him back to the dead, that we have got salvation. So on October 31st, 1517, 498 years ago, he hung the theses on the door. When Tetzel came near Wittenberg, St. Peter's prophet's sword, I wrote a little notice for the Alt-St. Bulletin Board. You cannot purchase narratives forward, justified by grace. Here's 95 more reasons, brother Tetzel, in your face. Oh, people responded to Luther's works very, very excitingly. At that same time, Gutenberg had invented the printing press, and a lot of the first things printed on that printing press were tracts supporting either the Catholic Church's side or Martin Luther's side, and they continued to spread throughout the world. Now, obviously, this was the day before television and radio, but if they would have had radio in those days, you might have heard the popes come on and say, Martin Luther is a heretic trying to destroy the authority of the church. If you side with him, you side with the sons and the daughters of perdition. I am the Pope, and I approve this message. Now, seriously, the Pope brought Luther up before the Emperor, King Charles, and there was a series of debates, and they were called diets or meetings. And there was this one particularly one that happened in the town of Worms, Germany, and they call it the Diet of Worms. And it was here that John Eck condemned Luther and said, if you don't recant, you will burn in the fires of hell forever. Recant, take back everything you have written. And Martin Luther took the famous stance you can see on the right. He's holding his Bible, and he stood, I cannot and I will not recant, for it is neither safe nor right that one should go against one's conscience. Here I stand, I can do no other. God help me. And so it was the Diet of Worms that got things really rolling for the Reformation. So they loved my tracts, adored my wit, all were exemplar. The Pope, however, hauled me up before the Emperor. Are those your books? Do you recant? King Charles did demand. I will not change my diet, sir. God help me, here I stand. Oh, the king put out an edict and an order that Martin Luther should be brought in dead or alive. Well, Frederick the Wise, the Elector of Saxony, took Luther's side, and instead of arresting Luther, he protected him. And he even joined in the criticism calling King George the head of the kingdom of the birds. So Frederick ordered the kidnapping of Luther, secretly whisked him off to Wittenberg, where he sat up in a castle, that's the very desk, in which he sat. And during this time, it took a year and a half, he actually translated the Bible out of the New Testament out of Greek into German, so everyone could read the Word on their own. And this was the first time in the history of the world that people on their own could read the Bible. Pretty spunky, wouldn't you say? Duke Frederick took the wise approach, responding to my words by knighting George's hostage in the kingdom of the birds. His brothers Reformation, he found that people just didn't know anything about the faith. They just didn't get it. They were going to Mass every week only because they were afraid they would burn if they didn't go. And so Luther said, there's basic things that everyone should know if they're going to be a Christian. If you're going to call yourself a Christian, you should know these. You should know the Lord's Prayer. You should know the Ten Commandments. You should know the Apostles' Creed, because that's the basics. You should know what happens to you at baptism, and you should also know what God is doing through the sacrament of holy baptism. So I put that all down in a little book. We call it the Small Catechism. And just 2 weeks ago, I was teaching the Small Catechism, yet to this day, to our young people on a retreat. Now, just as a way, the Small Catechism is part of a larger book called the Book of Concord, which is kind of the basis of what we believe. But the high points there are 3 spunky solas. The word sola means alone. First of all, we are saved, gratia, by grace alone. Second of all, we get our information from the Scripture alone, sola scriptura, and we connect with that through faith, sola fide. And then other parts of the book are that we distinguish between law and gospel. In other words, if you're reading the Bible and you end up feeling crummy and accused and dejected, you didn't read enough because you never got to the good part, the good news. And the good news always trumps the bad news. We're the same time sinners and saints, and we're a confessional movement. One other funny thing about Martin Luther is that he just thought it was really weird that priests and nuns couldn't get married. He just thought, especially when he saw what priests and nuns were doing behind the scenes. And he said, this is not right. We've got to take away this unnatural thing, and we've got to get it back together. So he arranged for priests to be able to get married, and Martin Luther himself actually married a nun that he had smuggled out of a convent in a pickle barrel. Her name was Catherine, and they had 8 children. So yet for today, if we were to carry the Reformation all the way through to our church, Immanuel, which literally means God with us, we need to honor the sacrifice of Jesus by centering our lives on the good news of Jesus Christ. We need to consistently share a good percentage of what God has given us back with Him. We need to tell others how Jesus has changed our lives. And we need to open our doors so more and more people can be exposed to the good news of our Lord Jesus. So,